Imagine you're at a fancy restaurant with friends. It's your birthday, and the table is loaded with great food. Picture this. You're out with friends at a nice restaurant. It's your birthday, and the table is packed with amazing dishes. Everyone is laughing and having fun. But then the check arrives. Everyone had a great time, but suddenly the waiter brings the bill and the mood changes. Everyone goes quiet. People slowly reach for their wallets, acting like they're figuring out the bill. No one knows what to say. Some start looking for their wallets, but they aren't sure how much they should pay. Just when things start getting awkward, your wealthiest friend grins and says, "Relax, I'll treat you all." Just as you start feeling the pressure, your rich friend smiles and says, "Don't worry, I'll pay for everyone." Suddenly, the mood shifts. Everyone smiles, feeling relieved. Now, that extra dessert you got doesn't feel like a bad idea anymore. Everyone immediately cheers up. They relax and start talking again. Now, you don't feel bad about ordering that expensive cake. It was a good choice after all. The word treat has an interesting history. It comes from the Latin word tractare, meaning to handle or to manage. The word treat has existed for a long time. It originally came from Latin, where it meant to deal with or to take care of something. Over time, its meaning changed. At first, it meant handling things, but now it can mean taking care of people, giving a gift, or even making a deal. As the years passed, the meaning changed. Now it can mean helping others, giving someone a gift, or even making a deal between two sides. Ever thought about how peace treaties are made? Not all of them are about big political issues. Did you know that peace treaties aren't always about big wars? Some are actually quite strange. Some are weird, like in 1618 when a French town signed a treaty with a neighboring village because of a pig. For example, in 1618, two towns in France made a peace agreement over something funny, a pig that caused trouble. A pig ran off and caused a fight. To prevent more trouble, the town signed an official paper saying pigs wouldn't start wars anymore. A pig escaped. People started arguing and things got out of hand. To avoid more conflicts, they made it official with a signed document, promising no more battles over farm animals. Imagine that. People arguing and someone saying, "Enough, let's make a treaty about pigs." Think about it. People were so upset that someone finally said, "This is ridiculous. Let's make an official rule about pigs." This connects to our first story. A treaty is a formal agreement, but at its core, it's about making things right. This connects back to what we talked about before. A treaty is just a formal way of fixing a problem between two sides. Just like when your friend says, "I'll treat you," he's making things easier, solving a small problem. When your friend says, "I'll pay for you," he's also solving a small problem. Who will cover the bill? In a way, both are about handling situations, whether it's buying dinner or stopping a war. In both cases, the goal is the same: taking care of a situation so that no one has to worry about it anymore. Now, imagine you're sick in bed. Your head hurts, your nose is stuffed, and you feel terrible. Think about a time when you had the flu. Your whole body ached, and you just wanted to sleep all day. Your grandma walks in with a bowl of soup and says, "The best treatment for a cold is rest." Your grandmother comes in with hot soup and tells you, "You just need rest to feel better." You take the soup and wonder if her secret recipe really works. Here, treatment means care, a way to get better. You sip the soup, hoping that whatever she put in it will actually help you recover. In this case, treatment refers to a way of healing or making yourself feel well again. But look how it connects to the other meanings. When someone treats you to dinner, they take care of the bill. This word is similar to other uses. If someone treats you to food, they're taking care of the cost. When a country signs a treaty, they try to fix a conflict. And when you get treatment for a cold, it's about fixing your health. When two countries sign a treaty, they're working to solve a conflict. And when you take medicine for a cold, it's to help you get better. All these meanings come from the same root idea: handling a situation in the best way possible. In every case, treat means to manage something properly, whether it's a bill, a fight, or an illness. So, where and when could you use this word? Maybe when offering to pay for a friend, when talking about medical care, or even in history class, learning about peace treaties. When would you use treat? Maybe when being generous with friends, discussing health solutions, or learning about historical agreements. You can say, "Don't worry, I'll treat you," paying for someone. For example, if your friend forgets their wallet, you can say, "It's fine, I'll pay for you." This is the best treatment for a cold. Talking about medicine. If someone asks what helps a cold, you can say, "Rest and tea work best." The countries signed a treaty to end the war. Formal agreement. When learning history, you might hear, "The two sides agreed to stop fighting and signed a peace deal." The next time you hear treat, think about how it always connects to taking care of something, whether it's people, problems, or even pigs in history. So, whenever you hear treat, remember, it's all about handling things properly, whether it's a meal, a conflict, or your health. Imagine you're in a hospital waiting to see a doctor. The room is packed, the chairs are stiff, and the wait feels endless. You're sitting in a busy hospital feeling tired and impatient. The chairs are hard, the air smells like disinfectant, and your turn feels far away. Then a famous celebrity walks in. Suddenly, nurses rush to get him a private room, a fancy meal, and a personal doctor. Out of nowhere, a well-known celebrity enters. Immediately, the hospital staff jumps into action, setting up a private space and special care just for him. A nurse quietly tells another, "Well, of course he gets the best treatment." You glance down at your cold coffee and sigh. One of the nurses leans in and mutters, "Well, obviously they're rolling out the red carpet for him." You look at your cheap coffee, still waiting, and wonder why life is so unfair. Why does this happen? Treatment can mean medical care, but it can also mean how someone is treated in general. Why do some people get better service than others? Treatment isn't just about medicine, it's also about how people are treated in life. Some people get special treatment because they're famous, while everyone else has to wait like normal. If you're famous or rich, people often treat you differently, but for regular people, rules don't change. Ever felt like someone got better treatment than you? Maybe at work, in school, or at a restaurant? Have you ever been treated unfairly? Maybe your boss favored someone, a teacher gave special attention, or a waiter ignored you. Why does he get special treatment? We did the same job. Why is he treated better than me? We worked just as hard. This hotel gives great treatment to its guests. I need treatment for my back pain. They really take care of people here and make everyone feel special. My back hurts so much, I really need to see a doctor. Have you ever had an argument that went too far? Maybe you were joking with a friend about who's the worst driver. Have you ever started a small debate that suddenly got serious? 1 second, you're joking about bad driving, and the next, it's an intense discussion. Then, suddenly, it got serious. Someone crosses their arms and says, "Okay, let's treat this like a real case. State your arguments." The mood shifts. One friend leans in and says, "Fine, let's argue properly. Prove your point." Now, what was just a small joke turns into a full debate. The winner gets bragging rights, and the loser buys coffee. A casual chat turns into a heated discussion. The winner walks away feeling proud, while the loser ends up paying for drinks. But wait, why do we say treat here? Originally, treat came from the Latin tractar, meaning to handle or to manage. But why use treat to describe a debate? The word treat actually comes from Latin, where it meant to take care of or to handle a situation. That's exactly what happens in arguments. We start handling things differently. That fits because when a conversation gets serious, we begin handling it in a different way. When we treat something seriously, we change how we act. Have you ever told someone to treat it like a joke or treat it with respect? When we decide to treat something like it's important, our attitude and behavior change. Have you ever had to remind someone, "Don't take it too seriously," or "show some respect"? Don't treat this like a game, it's serious. Let's see it as a friendly challenge. Stop messing around, this is important. Let's keep it light, just a fun competition. She treats every argument like a life or death situation. She takes every little debate way too seriously. Imagine you're at a football game. The score is tied. Picture a high-stakes football match. Both teams are fighting hard and the scoreboard shows an even score. The referee blows the whistle and calls a penalty against your team. The coach storms onto the field yelling, "That's unfair! You can't treat my players like that." Then the referee makes a call against your team. Your coach jumps up, furious, and shouts, "That's not fair! My players don't deserve this." This is another meaning of treat, how we behave toward others. It's not about dealing with problems, it's about the way we behave toward others. Here, treat isn't about handling situations, but about how we act toward people. It's about fairness, respect, and how someone is dealt with in a situation. The way a teacher treats students can change their confidence. Imagine a strict teacher versus a supportive one. The way they treat their students can affect how they feel about themselves. The way a boss treats employees can change their motivation. The way a referee treats a team can change the whole game. A boss who shows respect and support makes workers feel valued. A bad boss makes them miserable. In sports, bad decisions can change everything. If a referee is unfair, the game feels rigged. Where have you seen this kind of treatment? She treats her employees with kindness. Have you ever felt like someone in charge treated you unfairly? She is always nice to her workers and cares about them. I don't like the way he treated me. If you treat people well, they will respect you. He was really rude to me and I didn't deserve that. Be kind to people and they will be kind to you. So, what do all these meanings have in common? Treat always means handling something, whether it's a situation, a debate, or a person. So, what's the big idea? Treat is always about dealing with things, whether it's a conversation, a person, or a problem. It can mean medical care, behavior, or how seriously we take something. It's about health, actions, or the way we treat things seriously. The next time you hear treat, think about it. Are we handling something, reacting to someone, or giving special care? So when you hear treat, ask yourself, are we fixing a problem, dealing with a person, or making something more important? Maybe like the celebrity in the hospital, some people just get a better treatment than others. And just like that VIP patient, some people always seem to get better treatment than the rest of us. Imagine you're having a super hot day. The sun is blazing and you've been running around all day. Picture yourself outside in the heat, feeling the sun burning down, and you've been busy running from one place to another. Suddenly, you spot a little ice cream stand. Your friend looks at you with a grin and says, "Let's treat ourselves to some ice cream." Then, out of nowhere, you see an ice cream truck, and your friend smiles, suggesting, "How about we enjoy some ice cream as a treat?" You both pick your favorite flavors, and with each bite, it feels like the world is a little bit cooler. You choose your favorite ice cream flavors, and with every bite, you feel refreshed and a little bit happier. Now, think about it. The word treat here doesn't just mean reward in the sense of doing something good. Take a moment to think. When we use the word treat, it's not just about getting rewarded for something good you've done. It's more like indulging in something nice just because you feel like it. You might use it with friends or even by yourself. It's about treating yourself to something just for the fun of it. You can say it when hanging out with friends or even when chilling alone. You can say, "Let's treat ourselves to a pizza tonight." Or, "I'm going to treat myself to a new pair of shoes." For example, you could say, "Let's get a pizza as a little reward tonight." Or, "I'm buying myself a new pair of shoes just because I deserve it." This use of treat is all about making something special out of everyday life. When we talk about treat, it's about making something ordinary feel special or exciting. It's about taking a break from the usual routine and enjoying something extra. It's about taking a moment to enjoy something different from the usual daily routine and doing something special for yourself. So, where would you use it? maybe after a long week of hard work or when you're feeling good. Where would you use this word? Maybe after working hard all week or when you're in a good mood and just want to enjoy yourself? You're not doing it for anyone else, just for you. It's something you do for yourself, not for anyone else. Now, let's switch gears for a second. Ever thought about where your water comes from? You don't usually think about it when you turn on the tap, right? Let's change things up for a moment. Ever wondered how water gets to you? You probably don't give it much thought when you turn on the faucet to get water. But the water goes through treatment before it reaches you. The water has to be cleaned and purified before it's safe for you to drink. It's cleaned, filtered, and treated with chemicals to make sure it's safe to drink. The water goes through a process where it's cleaned, filtered, and treated with special chemicals to remove harmful stuff. Imagine if it didn't go through this treatment. You'd probably be sick after drinking it. Think about what could happen if it wasn't treated properly. Drinking it could make you very sick. That's what makes treatment so important. You can say, the water is treated before use. This is why treatment is so crucial. It makes sure the water is safe to drink. You could say, they clean the water before people use it. It means it's cleaned and made safe to drink. The word treatment is a bit more serious, right? It's all about improving or fixing something. The word treatment sounds a bit more official or important, doesn't it? It means doing something to improve or fix something that's not quite right. It's like when a doctor treats a patient. The doctor doesn't just let the patient stay sick. They do something to make them better. It's like a doctor helping someone who's sick. They don't just sit there and watch. They find a way to fix the problem. Just like how water is treated, people or things sometimes need treatment to be at their best. So where could you use this word? Just like water gets treated, people and things sometimes need care or fixing to be in the best shape. Where would you use the word treatment? Maybe you're at a doctor's office or even discussing how to clean something special, like a valuable piece of furniture. Maybe when you're talking about visiting the doctor, or when you're figuring out the best way to take care of something valuable, like a famous painting. Let's take a step back in time. Picture yourself on a battlefield. Your army is outnumbered, and the situation looks grim. Let's rewind a bit. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a war zone. The enemy has more soldiers than you, and things are not looking good. The general looks at his soldiers, exhausted and beaten, and makes the tough call. We must retreat. The general scans his worn-out, battered troops, takes a deep breath, and finally says, we're pulling back. No other choice. The army had to retreat from the battlefield. It's not about giving up. It's about saving yourself for another chance to fight, another day. The army had to pull back from the fight. It wasn't quitting, it was making sure they'd be ready to come back stronger next time. Now here's the cool part. The word retreat in this situation means more than just running away. Here's the interesting part. When we say retreat in this context, it's not just about running away from a fight. It's about pulling back to come back stronger. You can use retreat in a lot of different ways. It's about stepping back for now so you can come back later in a better position. You can use retreat in many situations, not just battles. If you're planning a weekend getaway, you might say, I need a retreat from work. Or if you're in a tough situation, you could say, it's time to retreat and rethink this. If you're thinking about a short trip, you might say, I need a break to recharge. If things aren't going your way, you might say, let's step back and figure this out. So where might you use retreat? Maybe when you need a break from stress or when things are getting too overwhelming. Where would you use retreat? Perhaps when you need to escape stress or when things are too overwhelming to deal with. You pull back to recharge so you can move forward later. You step back for a while to gather energy and ideas, then come back stronger. When you think about it, treat, treatment, and retreat all have something in common. If you think about it, all three words, treat, treatment, and retreat, share a common idea. They all involve taking care of something, whether it's treating yourself to something nice, giving water the treatment it needs to be safe, or retreating to regroup and come back stronger. They all have to do with improving or caring for something, whether it's rewarding yourself with something nice, making sure water is safe, or retreating to get ready to do better later. In the end, these words are all about improving something, whether it's your day, your health, or your strategy. These words are about making things better, enjoying something, solving a problem, or taking a break to improve. You can treat yourself with kindness or ice cream. You can give something the treatment it needs to be good, or you can retreat when you need to regroup and try again. You can treat yourself with something nice, make sure something gets the proper care, or retreat when it's time to take a break and rethink your plan. It's all about finding the right moment for each one. So, where will you use these words next? It's about knowing when each one fits in your life, when to treat yourself, when to give something treatment, and when to retreat. Now think about it. Where could you use these words in your life? Imagine you're at work, feeling the weight of a problem that's been going on for days. Everyone's been avoiding it, and no one seems to want to face it. You're at work, and there's a problem that no one wants to deal with. It's been dragging on for days, and everyone is trying to ignore it. But you know something has to change. You look around and say, we need to treat this problem seriously. You realize it can't go on like this. You tell everyone, we need to handle this issue properly. It's not just about brushing it off anymore. It's time to really look at the situation and tackle it head on. This isn't something that can be ignored any longer. It's time to face it directly and deal with it. Maybe it's a project that's fallen behind, or maybe it's a team issue that's affecting the whole office. It could be a project that's behind schedule or a problem with the team that's making things worse for everyone. Either way, you're saying, let's not just hope it goes away. Let's actually do something about it. No more waiting around. You're saying, we can't just hope it fixes itself. We need to take action. Think about it. Treating something seriously is all about giving it the right attention, like when you treat a friend with respect. Imagine this. You take something seriously when you focus on it, just like you show respect to a friend by really listening to them. It's an action, not just words. So, where in your life could you use this? It's about doing something, not just talking. Can you think of a situation where you should treat something more seriously? Maybe you've been avoiding a conversation with someone important. We need to take this problem seriously can be a perfect way to get things moving. Maybe there's someone you've been meaning to talk to but haven't yet. Saying we can't just ignore this, it's a big deal, can be the kickstart you need to begin solving it. You can say, I know it's tough, but we need to take this problem seriously if we want to fix it. You might say, yeah, it's not easy, but if we don't deal with this properly, it won't get better. Now picture this. You're sitting in a lively cafe with a friend. The conversation flows easily, but then you touch on a topic that needs a little more thought. Imagine yourself chatting in a busy cafe. Everything is going smoothly, but then you bring up something that makes you pause for a second. Maybe it's a serious discussion about a world issue or even something personal that requires careful handling. You lean in and say, this topic needs a deeper treatment. It could be a big issue like a global topic or something personal that needs a bit more care. You get serious and say, we need to dig into this topic more. You're telling your friend that this isn't something that can be solved with just a quick chat or a passing thought. You're letting your friend know that this needs more than a quick conversation. It deserves more focus. This is something that deserves your full attention. It's like when a doctor gives a patient the treatment they need to heal. You really have to put your whole mind into this. It's like how a doctor treats a patient, taking the time to properly help them recover. It's not just a band-aid, it's real care. This topic needs a deeper treatment, is a way to approach a serious subject with the right amount of attention. It's not a quick fix, it's about giving the right care to solve the issue. Saying, this topic needs a more in-depth discussion, is a way of saying it requires more thought and focus. Do you ever find yourself in situations where something needs deeper treatment? It could be a project that needs more planning or a conversation that needs more honesty. Have you ever been in a situation where something needed more careful consideration? It could be a task that needs better preparation, or a talk where you just gotta be real. You can say, this topic needs a more in-depth exploration if we want to understand it better. You could say, if we really want to get this, we need to think about it more carefully. Now imagine you're at a doctor's office, nervously waiting for your test results. You've been feeling ill, and the doctor walks in with a reassuring smile. Picture yourself sitting in a clinic, fidgeting while you wait to hear what the doctor has to say. You've been sick for a while, and the doctor comes in with a smile, ready to talk about your condition. Luckily, this disease is treatable, they say, and immediately a weight lifts from your chest. The doctor says, good news, this condition is treatable, and you immediately feel better. Treatment means there's hope. It's not the end of the world. Even when things seem bad, knowing that there's a way forward changes everything. Treatment brings hope, meaning there's a way to fix it. It's not as bad as it seemed. When things look bad, knowing there's a solution can make all the difference. When something is treatable, it means there's a way to fix it. It could be a medical issue or even a personal problem. If something is treatable, there's a way to make it better. It could be a health problem, or it could be something in your personal life that's treatable. When we say something is treatable, we're telling ourselves or someone else that this challenge isn't permanent. Saying something is treatable means we're reminding ourselves or others that it's not forever and can be fixed. It can be fixed. It can be healed. That's powerful. It's something that can be repaired or made better. That's a powerful thing to realize. Don't worry, it's treatable. We can work through it. Is a way to offer hope and show that things can improve. Saying, don't worry, it's treatable. We'll get through this together, is a way to offer reassurance and show that there's hope. So, if you look at all these meanings together, you see how the word treat ties into both care and action. It's about how we approach problems and situations. When you think about all these uses of treat, you'll see that it's about both taking action and giving care. It's how we deal with issues and challenges in our lives. Whether it's treating a problem seriously, giving a topic the attention it deserves, or knowing something is treatable, it's all about giving things the proper care and action they need. Whether it's dealing with a problem properly, taking the time to understand something, or knowing that there's a way to fix something, it's about giving it the right care and effort. It's a good reminder that problems can be solved and challenges handled if we treat them the right way. It just shows that any problem can be fixed and any challenge dealt with if we approach it wisely. Have you ever wondered what happens when you ignore a problem for too long? Sometimes small things can turn into big issues. Have you ever thought about what might happen if you don't deal with problems right away? Sometimes something small can grow into something much bigger if you leave it. Let me take you back to an old man living alone in a small cabin in the woods. He tells you about a battle he fought years ago. During the fight, he got a nasty wound. Imagine an old man who lives by himself in a tiny cabin deep in the forest. He talks about a fight he was in many years ago where he got badly injured. At first, it seemed like nothing, but because it was left untreated, it got worse. The wound became infected, and he almost lost his leg. At first, it looked like a small scratch, no big deal. But since he didn't take care of it, things went south. The cut got infected, and he was lucky to avoid something serious. He's telling you this story to show you how dangerous it is to ignore even the smallest injuries. He's sharing this story to remind you that even tiny injuries can turn into big problems if you don't take them seriously. If I had treated it right away, it would have been fine, he says, but I waited, and now look at me. You can hear the regret in his voice. If I had taken care of it sooner, I wouldn't be dealing with this now, he mutters. I didn't do anything, and now look where it got me. His voice is full of regret. You might say, the wound got worse because it was left untreated. You could say, the injury got worse because he didn't treat it. Ever ignored something, like a car issue or a small phone problem? What happened? it probably got worse, right? Think about a time when you ignored something, like your car or a phone problem. What happened next? Things usually get worse, don't they? The same goes for wounds. When you don't take care of them, they grow into bigger issues. The lesson here is simple. Don't leave problems untreated. It's the same with injuries. If you don't take care of them, they turn into bigger problems. The point is clear. Fix issues before they get worse. Have you ever seen someone treat an animal badly? It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Have you ever watched a person be cruel to an animal? It really hurts to see that, right? I once heard about a man who had a dog. He would leave the dog outside in freezing weather and never gave it food. I heard about this guy who had a dog. He left it out in the cold all the time and never even fed it. The villagers were upset and finally confronted him. "You shouldn't maltreat animals like that," they said. The people in the village got angry and decided to confront him. "That's no way to treat an animal. Be kind to them." He didn't understand the harm he was causing until it was pointed out to him. He didn't realize how wrong he was until someone pointed it out. People sometimes forget that animals feel pain too, and it's up to us to show them kindness. You shouldn't maltreat animals like that. Some people don't always remember that animals can hurt just like us. It's our job to be kind to them. You shouldn't treat animals that way. You can use this phrase when you see someone treating an animal badly. It's a strong way to remind them to be kind. You can say this when you see someone being cruel to an animal. It's a good way to remind someone to be kinder to animals. Maltreating something or someone means treating them in a cruel or harmful way. The idea comes from the word treat, meaning how you handle or deal with something. Being rough or unkind to someone or something means hurting or treating them badly. The word treat is all about the way you act towards something or someone. When you maltreat something, you're handling it in the worst way possible. If you maltreat something, you're treating it really badly and causing harm. Now, think about the times you've seen someone stay in a bad relationship. Maybe they were mistreated, but they stayed anyway. Think about those times when someone refused to leave a relationship, even though they were being treated badly. They knew it wasn't right, but they just couldn't walk away. One of my friends was in a relationship like that for a long time. He used to belittle her and never respected her. I had a friend who stayed in a relationship like that for years. He'd make fun of her and didn't show her any respect. She finally left. She left because he mistreated her, another friend said. It was hard to watch, but it was clear that she deserved better. Eventually, she left him. She broke up with him because he treated her badly, another friend added. It was tough to watch, but it was clear she deserved so much more. You can say, she left because he mistreated her. This means he treated her badly or unfairly. You could say, she walked away because he wasn't good to her. This means he didn't treat her with respect or care. You can use this phrase when someone is being hurt emotionally or mentally by another person. Mistreated is when someone doesn't show respect or kindness. You can say this when someone is being treated badly, either in their feelings or in their mind. Mistreated means someone is being treated badly or unfairly. It's similar to maltreat, but mistreat is more focused on how people act toward others in everyday situations, like in a relationship or workplace. It's kind of like maltreat, but mistreat is more about how people treat each other in daily life, like how a boss treats employees or how someone acts in a relationship. So, what's the connection between all these stories? What's the common thing in all of these? Whether it's a wound left untreated, an animal being maltreated, or a person being mistreated, the idea is the same. No matter if it's a wound that never healed, an animal treated badly, or a person hurt unfairly, it all comes down to the same thing. It's just not right. Not caring for something properly will lead to harm. Whether it's your health, animals, or relationships, always remember to treat things with care and respect. If you don't take good care of something, it'll end up in bad shape. No matter if it's your body, a pet, or someone you care about, always be kind and take good care of them. Treating something or someone well keeps things healthy and happy. So, next time, think about how you treat the world around you and how you'd want to be treated. Taking good care of something or someone helps everything stay in great shape and feel good. Next time, before you act, ask yourself, would I want someone to do this to me? Imagine you're at the doctor's office feeling like you just have a regular cold. Picture yourself sitting in a doctor's office thinking it's just a mild cold that'll go away on its own. But then, the doctor hands you a huge list of medications. From nasal sprays to antibiotics, you wonder if all of this is really necessary. Suddenly, the doctor hands you a long list of treatments, including meds you didn't expect, and you start wondering if it's really needed. Ever had a doctor go a bit overboard with treatments? Have you ever had a doctor suggest more treatments than you thought were necessary? Some doctors overtreat minor conditions, and while they might have good intentions, you end up feeling like you're being treated for something far worse than a simple cold. Some doctors go overboard with treatment for small issues, and even if they mean well, it can make you feel like you're dealing with something way more serious than it actually is. You can say, "Wow, doc, do I really need all of this? It feels like you're trying to overtreat my cold." You could say, "Whoa, doc, is all this really necessary? Feels like you're going a bit overboard with my cold." Overtreating in this case is almost like using a sledgehammer to fix a small crack. Overtreating is like using way too much force to fix a small problem. The term overtreat is all about giving more than what's necessary or healthy, which is sometimes done in the medical world but can also happen in life. It means doing more than what's really needed, and it can happen in medicine or even in everyday situations. It's like going overboard when you don't need to. That's like using a hammer when all you need is a gentle tap. Now, let's think about visiting a hospital. All right, imagine walking into a hospital for a checkup. You walk through the doors seeing lots of patients with visible injuries. But what about those who are struggling with mental health issues? There's no big sign for that, is there? You notice lots of people with obvious physical injuries, but what about those dealing with mental health struggles? It's not as easy to see, is it? Many hospitals undertreat mental health issues. It's like they're focused on fixing broken bones and cuts, but ignore the problems people can't see. A lot of hospitals don't take mental health seriously. It's like they patch up wounds and set broken bones, but act like the mind doesn't need healing too. You may hear a nurse say, "We don't have enough resources for mental health right now." A nurse might say, "We just don't have the resources to properly support mental health." The truth is, some hospitals just don't put enough focus on the invisible struggles people face. The reality is, hospitals often don't focus enough on mental health because it's harder to see and understand. It's not that they don't care, but mental health often gets put in the back seat. It's not that they don't want to help, but people often ignore mental health because other things seem more important. Imagine if someone said, "I feel anxious, but I don't think they'll treat me for it." Picture someone saying, "I feel on edge, but I don't think anyone will take me seriously enough to help me." This is where undertreating comes in. It's about not giving enough attention or care to something that really needs it. This is what happens when something doesn't get the care it actually needs. It gets ignored or handled too lightly. It's like ignoring a small fire because you're too focused on the bigger ones. Just because something isn't obvious doesn't mean it's not important. It's like letting a little problem slide just because you're dealing with bigger issues. Invisible problems can be harder to treat, but that doesn't mean they should be overlooked. Now, think about this. You're at home feeling a bit sick, but instead of going to the doctor, you decide to handle it yourself. Picture this. You're chilling at home, not feeling great, but instead of seeing a doctor, you figure, "Hey, I'll deal with it on my own." You search for remedies online and grab what's available in your kitchen. You might think, "Why not just treat it myself? It's just a cold." You look up solutions online and use whatever you can find at home. You could say, "I'll just take care of it myself," It's just a little cold, nothing serious. But is that always the best idea? Sure, sometimes it works, but self-treatment is not always the safest route. That might be fine sometimes, but handling it on your own isn't always the smartest move. You can say, I think I'll just take care of it myself for now. Maybe some hot tea will do the trick. You might say, I'll try to treat it myself first. Maybe some tea will help. Treating yourself is like taking control of your health, but it can also backfire. In a way, it's similar to overtreating, just in a different way. Self-treatment can make you feel like you're in control, but sometimes it leads to bigger problems. It's kind of like overdoing things, but not exactly the same. Instead of relying on a doctor's judgment, you might go too far with something simple, or you might miss something important. Instead of trusting a doctor's advice, you might overdo it with a minor issue or overlook a real problem. It's all about balance, knowing when to trust yourself and when to seek professional help. It's about finding the right moment, when to rely on your gut and when to let an expert step in. So, whether it's overtreating, undertreating, or self-treating, these words all come back to the idea of balance. Whether it's taking too much medicine, not enough, or trying to fix things on your own, it all comes down to doing what's right for your health. It's about knowing what's needed and what isn't. It's about figuring out what really matters and what doesn't. Overtreating is when you give too much attention, undertreating is when you don't give enough, and self-treating is when you take matters into your own hands. Overtreating means you're doing too much. Undertreating means you're not doing enough. And self-treating is when you just handle it yourself. Where could you use these words in your own life? Have you ever felt like you were either overtreated or undertreated? Or maybe you've tried self-treatment before? Think about your own life. Have you ever felt overtreated or undertreated? Or have you ever tried self-treatment? These words remind us to think carefully about what we need and how to approach it. In the end, it's about finding the right amount of care, neither too much nor too little. These words help remind us to think carefully about how much care or attention we really need. You just need to find the right balance, not too much, not too weak. Imagine sitting in a doctor's office waiting for your test results. Think about being in a doctor's office, sitting there and waiting to hear what the tests say. You're nervous, but then the doctor walks in with a reassuring smile. You feel worried, but then the doctor comes in, smiling in a way that makes you feel a little better. The good news, he says, is that your condition is a treatable disease. Don't worry too much, he says. The problem you have can be fixed with the right medicine and care. Suddenly, the world feels lighter. Your mind drifts for a second. Cancer, something so terrifying, is treatable if caught early. You feel a little less afraid. You think about how scary cancer is, but knowing that doctors can help if they find it early makes it less frightening. You feel a sense of relief. The word treatable makes everything more manageable. You finally breathe easier. Knowing that this sickness can be controlled makes it feel less overwhelming. It's like you just found out that even something huge can be handled with the right care. It's as if you just learned that even big health problems can be taken care of if treated the right way. You can say, I'm lucky that this disease is treatable, because early detection can mean a whole new chapter of hope. You might think, I'm so glad that doctors can help with this, because finding a sickness early can change everything for the better. You could easily use this word in a situation where a problem feels less daunting because it's treatable. This word is useful when talking about a problem that seems scary at first but can actually be fixed. Imagine a friend telling you about a health scare and you reassure them saying, don't worry, it's a treatable disease. Picture a friend telling you they are sick, and you comfort them by saying, it's okay, the doctors can help with this kind of sickness. Now, picture yourself in a fancy hotel lobby preparing for a big event. You've just checked in, and the receptionist hands you a VIP pass. Imagine you are in a beautiful hotel getting ready for something special. You finish checking in, and the hotel worker gives you a special card. This will give you special treatment, they say with a smile. As you walk through the lobby, you notice how differently people are treating you. They smile and say, with this, you will get extra care and attention. You walk around and see that people act much nicer to you than before. You get the best seat at the event, the staff is extra polite, and even the meal feels like it's made just for you. You land the best seat in the house, the staff treats you like a VIP, and even the food tastes way better than usual. The phrase special treatment feels like it's been made just for you. You might say, I've never felt so special with all this treatment. It's not just about luxury, though. The word special treatment really fit because you are getting extra nice service. You could say, wow, I've never been treated this well before. But it's not only about fancy things. Special treatment is about how you're treated differently, often because you've earned it or because of your status. Getting special treatment means people treat you in a unique way, maybe because you deserve it or because you're important in some way. But isn't it funny how special can feel like a privilege while others get the opposite treatment? It's interesting that when some people get extra care, others might not be treated as well. It's just like how sometimes we all want to feel treated with extra care when we need it most. Everyone likes being treated nicely, especially when they really need support. Next, let's head to a busy city street. People are hustling, rushing to their next destination. Then, out of nowhere, a man bumps into a woman. Now imagine a crowded city street. People walk fast, hurrying to get somewhere. Suddenly, a man accidentally hits a woman while walking. Instead of apologizing, he snaps at her. Before the situation escalates, a stranger steps in and says, "You should always treat others with respect." Instead of saying sorry, he gets angry. But before things get worse, someone nearby speaks up and says, "You should always be polite to people." It's a small sentence, but it changes everything. The man pauses, looks ashamed, and apologizes. The situation could have gone another way, but with one simple line, the tension fades. It's just a few words, but they make a big difference. The man stops, looks embarrassed, and says sorry. Things could have turned bad, but with one quick sentence, the problem disappears. You could say to someone, remember, treat others with respect no matter what. It's something we all need to hear sometimes, especially when emotions are high. You might tell someone, always be kind to people no matter the situation. We all need a reminder to stay calm and be respectful, especially when we feel upset. And here's the thing, respect isn't something you can touch or see, but it's an action, a way of treating someone. Respect is not something you can hold in your hand, but it's something you show by how you act toward others. Treating someone with respect is like giving them room to be themselves without judgment. Being respectful means letting people be who they are without making them feel bad about it. It's no different from offering someone special treatment. They deserve it, and it can change how we connect with each other. Respect is just like giving someone extra care. It's something people need, and it helps us build good relationships. So let's tie these examples together. Let's connect all these ideas. All these ideas, treating someone with respect, receiving special treatment, knowing that a disease is treatable, are connected through one simple concept: how we handle the situations, people, and challenges. All these things, being kind, getting extra care, and knowing a sickness can be cured, are really about one thing: how we deal with problems, people, and life. Treat in different ways shows us that we have the power to manage things with care, understanding, and attention. The word treat reminds us that we can handle things by being careful, thoughtful, and kind. Whether it's treating a problem with the right medicine, showing kindness, or offering respect, treat is about how we handle what comes our way. It doesn't matter if we are talking about fixing a sickness, being nice to someone, or being polite. Treat is about the way we deal with the things. Next time you deal with something tough or meet someone new, think about how you treat it. A little respect, care, and understanding can make a big difference. When you face a hard situation or meet a new person, remember to handle it in a good way. Being kind, patient, and thoughtful can really change things for the better.